Hello, everyone. Today we have a very cozy and nice event. Welcome to our another weekly Talk and Trade. I'm really glad to have you all here, but most importantly, I would like to present you our amazing guest from far, far away, from Austria, no, from Australia. Pat Brown is here. He came here to meet Limpo because they have just released their beta version, which is the best-selling, downloaded app on both Lithuanian App Store and on Google Play. So congratulations to Limpo. The launch was amazing. Marathon was amazing. People are already getting tokens just for running and being healthy and fit. I already got 30 limbs, for going 300. I was walking. Thank you, Vytautas. 30, so it's almost €1. Isn't that great, right? Just for going 300 meters. Yeah, so congratulations to Limpo for such a huge success, and thank you for bringing Pat here. And Patrick is here to talk with you, and most importantly, our audience on our Facebook Live. You will present yourself and tell more of us about crypto trading. So cool. The floor is yours, and I hope we all will have lots of questions today.
Cool. All right. Hey guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you people online as well on Facebook Live. I want to sort of share some of my experiences and stories through trading, and maybe hear from you guys as well on your experience. Does anyone here trade at the moment? What level of are you beginner, advanced, intermediate? Beginner? Expert, okay. Yeah, you'd be better than me then by the sounds of things. But I've been involved in crypto trading for about 1.5 years. I remember going to a Talk and Trade in Melbourne when I first got into it, just to learn about it. Before that, I was trading sort of just the share market. So I was doing day trading on the Australian Stock Exchange. And I kind of stepped away from that because it became very time consuming, and I was always hesitant to get into crypto because I saw it as the same thing and I'd go through the same kind of patterns as I did before. So when I stepped back into crypto, I kind of tried to take a more disciplined approach and unemotional about the different coins and currencies, and it's helped me sort of be a better trader long term. I still don't know too much technically. I can always learn a lot more, like there's plenty to learn, but I've been able to sort of just keep some basic principles that have helped and learn from a lot of other people as well. So I want to run through some of these core principles that aren't necessarily true, but it's just what I, kind of stick by. One of them is the market's difficult to predict. So it's always fun having discussions with people and sort of trying to guess if it will go up or down. But a lot of the times, it will always catch people out. And when you least expect it, that's when you'll make a big loss, especially if you're day trading. Because of this, I try to take a more long-term approach. I sort of don't watch it every day. There was a point when I did start trading crypto that I was checking it every 30 minutes and staying up every night, kind of picking the next best thing. And what I like early on with friends, we would spend a lot of time doing this. And one night I was at work, and one of the other guys there I think he spent about 5-6 hours trying to research coins, and it was shortly after the Bitcoin cash fork. And I kind of didn't do anything. It was difficult to not sort of resist the urge to kind of try pick what was going to go up. But I sat there and I had to finish the work that I was meant to be doing. And it got to about 2-3 a.m. in the morning, and I've looked over, and I think he made like 30%, but I made 26% without touching anything. And then I started to factor in my time. So it's as fun as it can be. It doesn't end up being as worthwhile if you're spending 8 to 10 hours a day trying to just make a small percentage more. So sort of being able to accept that there's a lot of people out there that say they can predict the market, but a lot of people can get it wrong, and they're the stories that you don't hear about. You'll normally always hear about this is the one I got right. And so leading into that, it's sort of, my focus was on discipline and patience. They're two of the key things for me, which is just sort of setting my limits and kind of being unemotional about it. So December last year, after kind of realizing I probably invested too much or put too much money into crypto, I decided to pull out sort of a certain amount and just sort of limit myself each month to putting a new amount in. And on the first of the month, I would pick a new coin or an ICO, and that would be it. So I get the month to kind of learn and research and speak to people, but then I'd only have a limited amount to put in. And what it helped me do is when there was a new thing or the hype started for something, I couldn't jump on board because either I'd already spent the money for the month, or I didn't have enough in my allocated amount. And that amount that I invest or that I was putting in each month was based on a percentage of my income. So it doesn't matter how much I make, I'm still putting the same amount in. And that's kind of, it's not as fun. I do miss researching new ICOs and coins, but it's just helped me focus on other things which have been more rewarding, and still able to focus on kind of just the long-term approach, which is this something that's going to be worth more in 3-4 years time? And yes. I don't look at ICOs that much anymore, but early on when I was looking at it, I would go through everything. I'd sort of go through their GitHub, I'd jump on Slack, I'd speak to people, I'd go through LinkedIn, and that's where I kind of was spending a lot of time. And yeah, a lot of the time the criteria was just on what other people thought. It wasn't so much on their business potential. It was just, is this something that is going to be worth more, or everyone's excited to get into? And I looked at a strong team early on as one of the key things. But then I started to see the same people over and over on these ICOs. I'm like, hang on. And I'm like, maybe it's not that important. And then I also got involved in projects as well. So I got an insight into what is actually taking place. And when I realized that, it took the fun away a little bit, because you see these sort of big ideas and teams, but they are just people trying to do it, like start a business. And ICOs at the time were a great way to raise money from the public. But there was a bit of a misunderstanding. Even using the term investing, it's kind of incorrect. You're almost buying a digital product in a lot of the cases that doesn't really give you a right to anything. And I sort of had my friends and family get really excited about this stuff, so it was difficult for me I didn't want to ruin the excitement, but I'm just like, you got to be cautious. Or it's like instead of investing in Coca-Cola and buying their shares, it's like going and buying a can of Coca-Cola and then holding on to it for 2-3 years thinking that the can's going to go up in value. And these sort of concepts, it was very difficult to just discuss with people, because it was so much fun and it was very accessible. So the small amount that you needed to get involved in cryptocurrency was actually a great thing. But with that, it's sort of, people got excited and may have put in too much. But so the discipline thing just makes it a bit easier to not act on my impulses. It's sort of, it is hard to maintain it, but then patience as well, is to say that if things are going down today or 10% or 30%, I'm more interested in long term, and I'm not going to be making decisions you know, every second or every minute, that, yeah, the more I was doing that, the less effective I was. As it gets, you don't realize it because you remember how good the quick wins were, and then you start forgetting the losses. With that, there's always an opportunity to learn. So even today, I look at more long-term stuff and try to read what people are doing. And if I do something wrong or I don't stick to my principles, I don't spend time sort of beating myself up about it. It's not very useful for me to regret my decisions, or a lot of the time feel like I'm missing out. So especially with the ICOs, what tended to happen is people would look at everything and be like, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that. And then they're like, oh, I should have got in that one, or I said I was going to get in that one. I'm like, it doesn't help by doing that. I'm like, just either get in it or don't get in it and move on. And that's the same thing with gambling, and previously with the share market. You would get emotionally attached to a project or a coin, or even just an outcome. And yeah, the more you hesitate or doubt yourself, and yeah, it just becomes easier to make poor decisions. So having something like with Bitcoin Cash, I think I set like a profit-taking level, which was like 20% sort of increase on a particular night. I went up 160% that night.